I'm Ben Meiselas from the MeidasTouch Network. A stunning conclusion to Michael Cohen's civil lawsuit against the Trump Organization. As you know, I co-host Political Beatdown, a podcast on the MeidasTouch Network with Michael Cohen, and he described the stunning conclusion of his civil lawsuit against the Trump Organization for the failure to pay fees and reimbursements to Michael Cohen when he was working for the Trump Organization. For those who have watched Political Beatdown and the MeidasTouch Network, Michael Cohen was telling us about all of the breaking developments in that case. The case was slated for a jury trial this week. Jury selection concluded at the end of last week, but Cohen reached a settlement with the Trump Organization. Cohen was seeking approximately $2 million. I think it was about $1.8 or $1.9 million. Now, we don't know what the ultimate settlement amount was because the settlement amount is confidential, but we do know that Michael Cohen, just knowing Michael Cohen, would not settle if it was close to what the underlying amount was that Michael Cohen owed. I have no information whether that's true or not, but I mean, in terms of what the actual amount is, but I know that I can speak about Cohen's determination. And so I don't think Cohen would have taken anything substantially less than the amount he was requesting. But, you know, Cohen also in this clip, I'm going to show you hear it from Michael Cohen directly about the outcome. But this was a case that Donald Trump threw all of these motions at Michael Cohen. Donald Trump, there was appeals, tried to paper Michael Cohen out of this case. In fact, the trial court judge actually ruled against Cohen. Cohen had to go to the Court of Appeals, and the Court of Appeals unanimously overturned the trial court judge. The case continued to proceed, and then when Trump and the Trump Organization, was going to have to, I think Don Jr. was going to have to take the stand, or when people from the Trump Organization were going to have to testify and justify their conduct for a jury, what did they do? They tapped out and they settled. The Trump Organization gave up. And, there's this whole narrative, and it's a narrative that percolates, and it's attendant to fascism, to try to project that the dictator, the authoritarian, is the Teflon Don, right? But the emperor can always be exposed as having no clothes, and Donald Trump ain't no emperor. Donald Trump is a fascist, criminal, traitor, clown. And he's a very weak person. His malignant narcissism, sociopathic behavior, though, is also intertwined with this weakness. He's scared. He gets terrified. And he's a loser. He is a loser. He is a loser as a person. His life is a life of being a loser. He got his daddy's money, but bankruptcy, loser. And he's always got away with it through the bluster and the bravado, and because he was born with a golden spoon in his mouth, and he yells at people and he does all of that. But he is a very scared and weak person. And, he, when confronted, like when special counsel Jack Smith looks at him, in the courtroom, Trump refuses to look at Jack Smith because Trump is actually a cowardly individual. Donald Trump's a loser. The E. Jean Carroll case, Donald Trump lost, and Donald Trump was too scared to show up to testify. Not only was he too scared to testify, he went to Scotland and Ireland and claimed that he was doing some groundbreaking there when he wasn't. He just tried to get out of the country because he was so afraid to be near that federal courthouse when trial was taking place. So he literally fled the country. And he lost that case. When you talk about what was going on leading up to the January 6th insurrection, when Donald Trump was confronted by people in the DOJ, when Donald Trump was actually confronted by people, called him out, Trump would back down from doing certain things. Now, he engaged in other conduct, but he would back down. So it's important that we understand, because this case, and I'm going to play Cohen's video right now, don't you worry. It is a case study, not just a case. It is a case study in Donald Trump's pathology and what a loser that he is. But you just have to remain determined. And I think this is a parable that we should all think about going into the 2024 election. You got to stand up to the bully. You can't let the bully, the weak loser fascist, try to wear you down. So without further ado, let me show you this clip of Michael Cohen.
Other than just to turn around and to say that the matter settled, the terms are confidential, unfortunately, but they are confidential. Let me say this. I, like so many people, wanted to see this case go to trial. I've been dreaming about this case going to trial for 4 long years. Unfortunately, trial preparation, as you know, Ben, it's more than just what you want. And, rest assured, everybody keeps, as soon as the information came out, everybody was, oh, congratulations, congrats. Let me be very clear about something. I'm satisfied, but I'm not happy about it. I, again, would have liked to have had Don Jr. on the stand. I would have liked to have had others on the stand. Only for, I hate to say it, the shock value of what it would have been worth, more so. But there's underlying circumstances. Thursday night, the phone call came into me very late that my lawyer was contacted by Trump's folks and back and forth until ultimately on Friday, a resolution to the case ended up obviously taking place and the matter resolved. But 4 long years. I will tell you what it does turn around and say, and I said it on my Twitter account and on my Threads account. If you want to fight with Donald Trump, you know that right off the bat, you're going to have to be in the matter for the long haul. You're going to fight for years. In this specific case, you had motion after motion after motion. And finally, on, I think it was either the 3rd or 4th motion to dismiss, the judge ultimately granted their motion to dismiss on the most cockamamie, rationale behind it. So we filed an appeal. I mean, you could imagine how much time gets invested into a case like this. We file an appeal, and the appellate court in the First Department comes back, the First Circuit, and 5-0 overturn it and remand the case back to the judge who had the case, Judge Joel Cohen. Decent guy. All right. Just, it was a mistake. The way he saw the case, completely inaccurate. Okay. Now we get there and we're ready for pretrial conference, 7 motions in limine, something we talked about here on the political beatdown. 7, and all 7 dismissed. So then we have another pretrial conference. You could imagine how much, again, work. The point is that if you fight Trump to the very, very end, he knows when he's wrong and his folks know when he's wrong. And the ultimate result is that they end up settling. And that's what happened here.
And so is it officially settled now? I saw that the settlement was in the works. Case over, dismissed at this point?
Yeah, I mean, it was before the court. And right now there's just documents that are being prepared and so on. But the matter is, for all intents and purpose, it is, it's over. And case is settled.
And I know you can't go into the terms, but there's no broad non-disparagement provision that would prevent you from criticizing Donald Trump in other matters, is there?
No. I mean, this specifically has to do with the outstanding legal obligations that were created in the release. Like in all general releases, neither party acknowledges responsibility or culpability or any wrongdoing. However, to avoid the trial, the language that's used in these
but
general
there's
releases.
Nothing preventing you ever.
Care.
There's nothing preventing you from saying, for example, that in any other area that Donald Trump's a traitor, correct? I mean, you can say that.
No, there's no gag order on me for this. I could assure you that would never have settled if there's going to be a gag order on me. They couldn't get a gag order on me when they were remanding me back to Otisville unconstitutionally. They're certainly not going to do it over money. That's just not going to happen.
Tell us about.
But it just goes to show, I think that there's more, Ben, here for the brigaders, for the political beatdown brigaders, and for the country to show you that Donald Trump does not win all the time. In fact, as we've seen, Donald Trump seems to be losing a whole lot more often than he wins. We saw, for example, in the elector, litigation that went on, 60 actions were brought. Right after Trump lost the election, and then he also lost all 60 of those actions. Like I said, he lost to E. Jean Carroll, and I predict that he will lose to E. Jean Carroll again. There's a lot to talk about in terms of his losing, right? And one of the things that I ultimately learned after we were all together on Thursday is that with the Southern District of Miami case, Trump is going to be required to appear for a deposition within 45 days from last Thursday. And that's going to be a very interesting deposition. How much of it I will be able to share, whether I'll be able to share, specific quotes and statements or the entire video deposition, I don't know. That's something that the judge is working through right now based upon confidentiality and privilege. I don't personally see where there should be any, but then again, I'm not the judge. And I respect whatever the judge's determination is. If they allow us to use the tape or to disseminate the tape, you could imagine, Ben, you and I will have a lot to be discussing, and Salty will be making many, many clips out of that, what I expect to be up to a 7-hour deposition.
Folks, there you have it right there. Love hosting Political Beatdown with Michael Cohen, and it's very well said right there. Hey, hit subscribe. We're on our way to 1.5 million subscribers thanks to your support. Check us out at patreon.com/MeidasTouch. Wherever you get audio podcasts, search the MeidasTouch podcast and subscribe. It's free. Hit subscribe on YouTube. It's free. And check us out at patreon.com/MeidasTouch. Have a great day.
Hey Midas Mighty, love this report? Continue the conversation by following us on Instagram at MeidasTouch to keep up with the most important news of the day. What are you waiting for? Follow us now.